Hey everyone, it's Christian, Vancouver Realtor, and I want to give you and share with you a short update. I want to focus this update on detached homes on Vancouver's east side. And so we're going to get out into a couple of numbers and two examples of homes that sold well under their asking price. We're going to get them up for you in a moment. First, I want to start big picture and then work to the specifics. Big picture, sales were down. The number of sales were down 35%. For the average of this time of year. So it's a pretty significant drop off. This is caused by the increase in mortgage rates, of course. We've been seeing those go up throughout the year. And it's also caused by the fact that the market had peaked. Okay, markets need to take timeouts. They need to take breathers. So a couple of things we'll have to watch for is the number of new listings coming to market. In July, that was down 25%. So we may see a situation where we have a lot less listings and supply inventory is still pretty tight. Less sales, but also less listings. So we may not see significant drop that some people tend to pray for in the media or online. That said, let's look at how much home prices have come down on the east side. So they have been down by 6.1% over the last 3 months. So April to July of this year, 2022, the home prices are down by 6%. In money math, that means if you had a $2 million house in April, it is now worth about $1.88 million. So a savings of $120,000, providing that you can carry the mortgage at today's higher interest rates. And to help you with that, one of the things you can do, of course, is rent out the basement. A lot of the clients I'm working with, that is one of the first things that we look for when we walk through a home is does it have a separate entry? Is there a kitchen down there? Is this set up for a rental suite, whether it's a 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, or maybe even a 3-bedroom suite downstairs. You want to be able to collect as much rental income as possible. Two typical types of rental situations. You will see homeowners often rent to a family, right? Or they may rent rooms individually to students, to ESL students, college, and so on. And so that's a different way. Maybe you can get $2,100, maybe up to about $2,500 a month. That helps carry the mortgage. Should be able to carry 30 to 40% of your mortgage, obviously depending on your down payment, okay? Now, a few other things I wanted to go over. Sales on the east side of Vancouver were down from 143 last year in July 2021 to 54 just this past month. So a pretty significant drop. We're going to have to see what this means for prices going forward. And again, like I said, look for supply to get tight as well. A lot of sellers are going to say, look, if I can't sell my home, what's the point of listing it right now? And that's something I'm telling my clients. I'm saying, look, why don't you wait until after Labor Day? We get that second bump of the year. It gets busier. It's more active. Families are back from vacation. They may be out looking for homes. And I think the crucial factor too is people need to get used to these new interest rates. Once we get into a period where rates have leveled off, maybe 6-9 months, they've been at that same number, buyers may get accustomed to it and feel more comfortable pulling the trigger. Okay, two examples I want to go over with you. These are houses that sold recently. The first one here is on Argyle Street, 6961. 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom bungalow, built in the early 1950s. Still fairly original inside. This is a good example of where you have 3 bedrooms up, 2 bedrooms in the basement. These could be rented out. Here's your $2,000 a month in rental income. This home was listed for just shy of $2 million 2 months ago. They dropped the price by $100,000 and then sold it for $100,000 less than that. So they ended up selling it for $1.79. Probably would have gotten an extra $150,000 for this in February or March. Mind you, a home like this is going to require some renovations. If you look at the photographs, the cabinets look fairly original. These might be going all the way back to 1952. So doing a renovation like that where you're ripping out the cabinets, you might be ripping off some of the drywall in the basement, replacing that with new drywall, putting in some pot lights, make it comfortable and cozy and bright for tenants who are going to be renting from you. Maybe putting in a new bathroom, new tiles. If you're doing, replacing the appliances, that can add up quick. You can be looking at an $80,000 to $100,000 renovation fairly quick. So just something you've got to talk to your realtor about these kinds of things, and really budget them into your purchase. You can, in some instances, get renovations rolled into your mortgage. Okay, so you talk to your broker about that. Okay, next home I want to look at is on St. Catherine Street. This is St. Catherine's and King Edward. The address here is 4040. Again, this was a home that was listed just under $2 million, and again, spent about 2 months on the market. They reduced the price by $100,000 and then reduced it again, accepting a sale price of $1.675 million. So probably again $100,000 less than they would have got it if they had listed it in February or March. Very old house, 1923, also on a busy corner. So 4-bed, 2-bath. I mean, it's a smaller house. There's no question about that. Excuse me, it is actually a little bit bigger than the previous one I mentioned, but still, you only have the 4 bedrooms. A lot of work would be needed here in renovations. Although it looks clean and well kept, you're probably, you could easily drop $200,000 in renovations if you're doing the upstairs and the downstairs here. So it's just something to keep in mind. Although at least the sale prices are lower, and so for a couple that maybe couldn't get in January, hey, now you can get a home for $150,000 less. So it's a little bit of a break. You have to be willing to put that money into the renovations. Just an FYI on that. You don't have to do everything at once. I have seen clients who maybe started off by renovating the basement and then getting their tenants in there, and then maybe renovating, their primary living space upstairs, doing that later on. So you just kind of have to rough it in some cases. Okay. I just want to move on. There was this article in the Globe and Mail, just a short one, about a owner in New West who sold their place. The article was titled, "Rate Hike Prompts Investor Owner to Sell His New Westminster Condo." So I think this is 888 Carnarvon. It's a condo right on top of the SkyTrain there in downtown New West. And in this instance, I guess the owner had bought it some 10, 12 years ago, then bought it for $391,000. Article here is saying that, the headline is saying the guy sold it because the interest rates are going up. I am not seeing this right now with my investor client base. I am not seeing this as well when I talk to other realtors in the industry and what their clients are doing or are not doing. I understand that is anecdotal, that is specific to myself and the people I've spoken to, but I just don't see this practice happening on a wide scale. I think for a few reasons. Most people, even if they have a variable mortgage, they have fixed payments. Most of the banks, except for Scotia, will have fixed payments. So if the variable it's going up, it doesn't mean that the payment is going up. Okay, the cash flow there is the same. It just means that you're paying less of your principal off. So no reason for investors really to rush for the exits and have to sell these places. There may have been some other personal considerations. I sometimes see that, somebody's daughter's getting married, son is, buying his first home, and the parents will sell their investment condo and help their kids with the proceeds of that sale. So I wouldn't worry too much about this happening so far. Secondly, on this point, I do not see a lot of foreclosures. I look through a lot of listings on a weekly basis, hundreds, and I think I've seen one foreclosure this week. So, and this is after looking through, 200-300 listings. So, not something to worry about. We don't see the roof caving in yet on the market. But we do see a slowing market, and so that is what's happening, and we'll have to see how things pan out with interest rates. All right, the last thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to touch on this article I saw in the Globe and Mail. And you may have come across it. It had a most interesting title. And it said, homeowners are the new oil barons, and it's time to start taxing their wealth. So this article comes from an industry professor, and I believe he teaches at McGill University. And boy, oh boy, you know, I used to think so highly of the Globe and Mail. You know, to me it was Canada's New York Times. And I used to think, oh, you know, the writers and the journalists in the Globe and Mail, they're just of the highest quality. So are their ideas, their writing. And then I read something like this, and maybe it's just because I'm getting older and I've got a little bit more life experience under my belt. But what a bunch of, you know what? I mean, the article is just laden with false and spurious assumptions. So he starts this article off with the gas companies, the oil companies making windfall profits because the price of oil has increased due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine and less oil being on the global markets and so on, and sanctions and so on. Well, that hasn't always been the case for the oil companies. They've gone through a stretch post financial crisis 2008 where they didn't do all that well. Their stock prices didn't do all that well for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And all of a sudden, you know, now the tables turn, they are in a position to reap the benefits of world events. And this guy now wants to come in and just apply this windfall tax. And then he makes then he draws some connection between that and a homeowner. So you, dear homeowner, maybe you bought your place 15 years ago after saving for your down payment for 8 years, and now the market jumps post-corona because people, you know, interest rates were low and people wanted more space for their family, for themselves, for their dogs, and so you benefit. You know, real estate booms happen every 5 to 8 years. We look through the last 50 years of Canadian real estate history. Focus on Toronto. Look at Vancouver. Look at Montreal. You will consistently see that there's a boom every 5 to 8 years. And that's just you win. You win because you're in the market, right? You've taken the time to save for your down payment. You took the responsibility to pay your own mortgage. And to all of a sudden be clobbered over the head and basically be called a oil baron, I mean, that has to be some of the worst writing, and I just can't believe that we would see something like that in the Globe and Mail. And you know, the other thing here too, you have to remember is, when it comes to homeowners are paying, certainly in the Vancouver area of Toronto is similar. Our property taxes pay, 80, 90% of city budgets are paid through homeowners' property taxes. They're paying fire. They're paying towards fixing roads and the police department and schools and so on. You know, when a new homeowner moves into the neighborhood, they may be contracting the services of a contractor, electrician, plumber, landscaper, gardener, and be spending $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. There's a lot of economic growth that occurs when you have people going out buying homes. So you have to really be careful what you wish for here. If you start hammering people over the head with taxes and they decide to go somewhere else, you know, you may just lose that. So, and one more thing to keep in mind is here, they're in Canada, you cannot write off the interest portion of your principal residence. So if you're paying $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month in interest on your principal residence, there is no tax. There's no tax deduction for that. There is in the United States. So again, very basic argument here made by this guy. I think he's just looking at the fact that the market went up and said, hey, that's not fair. They should give that money back. Well, what are you going to do when the market goes down 10%? Right? We're seeing that in parts of the Fraser Valley right now. We're seeing that in other parts of the country. Is the Canadian government going to come back and give money back to homeowners? I mean, when the market goes down, right? You're going to take it away from them. You also have to give it back. So you got to be careful what you read. Really think about what you read, the different types of arguments that are being proposed in these kinds of articles. And I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Okay, I want to just say thank you very much to viewing all my viewers who've been with us these last couple of years. If you enjoy the content, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time.